this on, Justin?
All right, so I think we're waiting for another class, but I don't see
Okay.
it. So we can just get started. I'm recording it now, and we're doing a live stream, so they'll be able to see it anyway.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So everyone, this is David Meltzer. Say hi. Give me a little wave.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So first, I do want to say thank you so much for a couple things. One, thanks for having us on the elevator pitch. That was awesome. My partner, Henry, he wanted to reach out and say thank you as well. So that was a great experience for us. You know, we weren't ready for it. We know that, but we learned a lot, so we do appreciate it.
Cool.
And I do admire you a lot for what you're doing on the humanitarian side, as I mentioned to you. So much respect for that. So super excited to just break down your mindset a little bit and to share some of this stuff with the class and the kids. So I gave them a little intro, and unless you want to do an intro for yourself, you can, but I kind of gave them the details. If you want, we can hop into the meat of it. Well,
Yeah.
I think the most fascinating thing, honestly, is the fact that, you know, at one point in your life, you lost $100 million and you're able to overcome that. I find that so powerful, and I think I would love to just know what was going through your mind in that process, and what did you learn from that experience that helped you get to the next level?
Yeah, you know, when I was your age in the 5th grade, all I wanted to do was be rich. And you guys want to be rich? Yeah. Well, yeah, I wanted to buy my mom a house and a car. So what went through my mind, because I had everything I ever dreamed of, what went through my mind was, wow, you know, does money actually buy you happiness or not? And even though when I was your age, I was very, very poor, I was super happy. I had a great mom. I had 5 siblings. I always had food. But when I had all that money was the first time I wasn't happy. And so I realized at that time was money doesn't buy happiness, but it is important because it allows you to shop, right? If you have money, you can shop for whatever you want, but you have to be careful about what you shop for. Because if you shop for the wrong things, it's going to make you unhappy. And if you shop for the right things, then you can be really, really happy. So I came up with a motto when I lost everything that I was going to make a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. So everything I did wasn't for me anymore. It was to help other people. And so last year for my 50th birthday, I raised money and spent my own money to build community centers in Africa for kids just like you that don't have schools or food or water or healthcare. And I realized that's what really makes me happy. And so the lesson that I learned was that money was still very important, but you had to be careful on what you shop for.
It's awesome. Very powerful lesson. And feeding off of that, is there anything you would, if you were to talk to your younger self when you were in the 5th grade, is there a piece of advice that you would give yourself now that you're older and wiser?
It's still the same advice I give myself every day, and it's ask for help. You know, most people, the thing that holds them back is they're afraid to ask for help. And most people love to help you. So if you find the people that are good at certain things and you ask them for help, they can speed up the process of your knowledge and yours. So whether it's, you know, baseball, football, basketball, track, dancing, gymnastics, cheerleading, if you find the best people that you can and ask them for help, not only will you be better at it, but you're actually complimenting them. You're actually, nobody feels better than when they're asked for help. And so, you know, one of the things I teach everyone, no matter how old you are, is don't be afraid to ask for help.
Awesome. Good piece of advice. I definitely could use that when I was in 5th grade. Sometimes like an ego thing, right? Like you're afraid to ask for help, but if you just ask for that helping hand, it could take you, you know, to that next step.
Yeah, and everyone loves to help and everyone loves to give help. So it's a great flow to be in.
Absolutely. So another thing, since, you know, they're in 5th grade, and some things that I have seen through my own research, you know, how like Google, IBM, and like some other big companies, they're not valuing the college degree as much. And I'm not trying to like go down that path or anything, but in terms of just emotional skills, is there something that you look for, you know, as a leader and an entrepreneur in terms of the EQ side of things, those soft skills, whether it's creativity, leadership? Are there some things that you really value? And
yeah, there's four four things that I value, and I have one of the most notable sports agencies in the world. I have TV shows, podcasts, huge investment. Every single one of them have four things. Number one, I look for gratitude. It's the most powerful soft skill that you can have. If you are thankful for everything that you have and appreciate it, meaning add value to it, then that's a key component. So I look for people that are grateful people and that say thank you before they go to bed, when they wake up, everything, they don't have to do anything. They get to do things. They never say, why me? They say, try me. So they are very positive and have a grateful attitude. The second thing that I look for is forgiveness. One of the things I realized, even in the fifth grade, was I made a lot of mistakes, and I still make mistakes. And so forgiveness is a soft skill that's so important. And the cool thing is you only have to forgive yourself, is the only person you have to forgive. You can't forgive others because you can't give what you don't have, right? That's why I like to make a lot of money, so I can give it to a lot of people. The same thing with forgiveness. The third one is accountability. Now, accountability is a big word, but what it means is, number one, I'm accountable, or I'm in control of everything that happens in my life. There's nobody else that I can blame. I don't have to be shameful. I don't have to justify why it happened. I simply am accountable for everything, and my job is to learn from that. So I ask myself two questions. When anything good or bad happens in my life, what did I do to attract this to my life? And two, what am I supposed to learn from it? And that's where all the lessons come from. And then finally, I look, as a soft skill, believe it or not, inspiration. I look for people that motivate or help other people, not manipulate people. So I had some times in my life where I was a very good manipulator. I lived in a very scarce environment, which means world of not enough. I look for people that live in a world of more than enough, and that live in an inspired world to motivate and help others.
So the four things, once again, was gratitude, forgiveness, holding yourself accountable, self-regulation, and then what was the last one? Inspiration. So I'm sitting here wondering, like, dang, why didn't I get the investment? I got all those things.
Yeah, you did. You still got to be profitable.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything will come at the right way at the perfect time. Trust me.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I love those things, and something I looked a lot into, because I do this thing called Mindset Monday, where I try to teach that stuff, is the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence, and you touched on some of those there, which is really big. And one thing that I find that's really hard, and you've talked about this before, is staying consistent and developing those habits. A lot of times we like to develop those, hey, let's wake up at 4:30 every morning kind of habit, but there's also mental habits as well. So I believe you called it like the zero effect or something, right? Is there something that you can do, like a mental habit that you do to make sure that you stay consistent and you stay driven?
Yeah. So what I do is I actually lower the bar, and I say to myself that 2 minutes of doing something every day is worth more than 2 hours once a week. And so if I find I'm having difficulty, working out or eating right or studying, whatever you have to do, I lower the bar and I tell myself, I'm just going to do a minimum of 2 minutes today, but I'm going to do it every single day. And what happens is your body, your physical cells, your mind, which creates neural pathways, and even your unconscious, they all start working together. And every time I lower the bar, I overachieve. So if I only tell myself I'm going to do 2 minutes of studying, I end up doing 20 minutes every time. And that consistent behavior aligned with those soft skills we talked before. So if you enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of what you want for yourself, you want to be a great athlete, you want to be a great esports star, you want to be a great scientist, a great president, whatever it is you want to be, if you pursue that every day, you will have a substantially more successful career and get way more out of it.
Love it. Very true. I believe in that. Before we open up the field to some Q&As, because I know some people had some questions, and I want to respect your 20-minute rule. I do have some teachers that will probably see this and listen to this. So do you have any, I want to say advice, but is there something, because you have mentors yourself, Is there something you look for in a mentor, or something like a quality that makes a teacher really special and really great?
Yeah, I think there's so many people that have so many different things that make them great. So first of all, I look for what I want in people, right? I put faith in what I want in people, whether it's my own wife or my 4 children. I put faith and look at what I want in them. And I do the same things in mentors. So if I want to learn how to cook, I'm going to go find the best chef and I'm going to ask for help and say, can you teach me how to cook? If I want to learn how to, play baseball, I'm going to find the best baseball coach that I can find. So I actually believe that you can't have just one mentor. You need to have many mentors, people that are in the position that you want to be in, that are very good at what you want to be, and then ask them to teach you what makes them great. And if you do that, you can accelerate, make it so easy and fun to learn how to be great at whatever you want to be great at. And you don't have to make all the mistakes yourself.
Yeah, that's a huge piece of advice. I know growing up, if I was in high school, because little fun fact, I didn't want to go to college when I was graduating, but I did. I definitely would have asked if I can shadow someone famous or someone in my position just to intern for them, to learn from them. So especially like an entrepreneur that I really looked up to. So that's a good piece of advice. Any questions? You have any questions for Mr. David Meltzer?
Wow.
How did you lose $100 million?
That is a great question. So I lost over $100 million. And the way that I did that is I tell people all the time, it's not the decisions that you make, it's the assumptions that you make. And so first of all, I didn't ask for help. I owned a lot of real estate that had what's called equity in it. I had money in that real estate, and I thought that if I needed to take my money out, that I could just go to the bank when I needed the money and they would give me a loan and they would secure the property that I owned because it had money in it. Well, what happened was I didn't ask anyone for help. I'd always made a lot of money ever since I graduated law school. And I went to the bank to get money and they said, no, you can't borrow money. I said, well, what do you mean? I have millions of dollars in these properties. This is secure. They said, sorry, the bank's going out of business. We don't want to lend you the money. And the economy went down, and I learned a valuable lesson that, you need to have a certain amount of liquidity. You have to have balance in what you're doing. And most importantly, ask for help. And because that snowball effect, I couldn't get to my cash. I owned 33 different properties. I had a golf course, a ski mountain, and it became quite easy to lose that much money because I couldn't pay my bills because all my money was tied up into property and I didn't leave enough money in cash. And I assumed the bank would always give me cash because I had so much property. And that one assumption cost me a lot of money. But I didn't quit when I lost my money. I put faith into who I was and how I got there. I took stake in who I was, and I lived with gratitude, with forgiveness, with accountability, and stayed inspired. And I made it all back in a different way, helping people and working just as hard. But instead of working for me, I work through me for others. And it's allowed me to continue to make a lot of money and help a lot of people. And most importantly, have a lot of fun.
It's awesome. Very inspirational. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you can go. You can talk. Yeah. Did you hear that?
No, go ahead.
He wants to know a little bit about your first business.
Yeah. So when I graduated law school, I had 2 job offers. One was to be a real lawyer and to be a trial lawyer for an oil company. And it paid a lot of money to do that. And the second one was to work for a legal research publisher on the internet before they really invented the internet. And so I asked my mom what I should do, and she told me to be a real lawyer because she told me, quote unquote, the internet was going to be a fad, that it was just something that wasn't going to be a real business, and I should really focus in on being a real lawyer. Well, I didn't listen to her. I listened to my mom about all the great things she did know. She was a teacher. She knew all about education, but she didn't know about the internet. So I went to someone and asked them about the internet, and some very serious entrepreneurs told me the internet was going to be a really big thing, and that if I started this business and started doing this, that I would make a lot of money in the internet. And so my first business was selling legal research on the internet, which looked nothing like the internet today. But within 9 months out of law school, I was a millionaire. And I bought my mom the house and the car that I always dreamed about.
Nice. That's what I believe. One of your pieces of advice in general was something along the lines of don't always believe what you're told, something along those lines. And that's a very good example where, you know, a lot of times people will tell you something, but that's just one person's perspective. And you really need to keep an open mind and analyze different opinions and research. Any other questions? Yeah.
Okay, I have two. One of them is, are you still like a lawyer?
Good question. So I have a law degree. I passed the bar. So I'm considered a lawyer, but I don't practice law. But I use my law degree for all types of things during my business practices. So I use it for negotiation and contracts and all types of analysis that I've learned. But I do not have a legal practice. I have a sports marketing business and a media company, but I use my law degree all the time.
How did you get to your sports marketing?
How did I get in sports marketing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So through a friend, I was helping him, and I represented him in a TV show with Magic Johnson called Showtime. And I met a guy in the deal named Lee Steinberg. They actually made the movie Jerry Maguire about him. It's an old movie with Tom Cruise in it. But Lee, he respected my negotiation skills, my technology skills, my legal skills. And after I met him, he offered me a job in the sports agentry and marketing business. And I went from being a business person in technology and finance directly into one of the most boards in the world.
That's awesome. And something also, when you were growing up, you wanted to be a professional athlete, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I still do.
Yeah. Same. I feel you. So something I like to tell to kids in general is you may have dreams of becoming like a professional athlete. And, you know, even if you don't make it, but even if you strive for it, you can still be involved in that world and still pursue those passions in other lanes. And I see you doing that right now, which is awesome. And clearly you're happy about it, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's important to realize that even if you do become a professional athlete, that the biggest challenge for all the people that I work with, you know, I work with really big name people that you guys know, like Cam Newton and CJ Anderson, a tremendous amount of great athletes. They are working really hard still to develop the skills that you're learning there in the 5th grade. They want to be business people while they're playing and after they're done playing. So whether you make it or not, learning as much as you can, experiencing as much as you can, having mentorship helps you even if you do make it. I think too many people think about it and look at me. I played college football. I wasn't good enough to play in the NFL, but I'm so grateful that I was a good student, that I worked really hard and understood business. And even if I made the NFL, now that I'm older, I would have been extremely grateful that I worked so hard in school and I worked so hard out of school to learn all these other skills besides being a great football player or a baseball player or a dancer or a gymnast or a cheerleader, all the different things that we do. In fact, I have 3 daughters and my son he's in the 3rd grade, he's 9, and they all are athletes, but they also are really good students and they work really hard at both. Because even if they become professional athletes, I want them to be prepared to use all the money that they make, all the relationships that they have to help more people and have more fun in their lives. So I really encourage you, if you love sports or you love science, whatever it is, make sure you learn about all the other things as well. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket.
Well said. Yeah, becoming a student of life in all areas. Any other questions? Yeah.
How wealthy are you now?
How about this? I can buy whatever I want. So I worked really hard.
You have another question?
Yes. Where do you live?
Where I live in Orange County, and I have a home in San Diego, and then I also have an apartment in New York City.
Very nice. All right, last question. Yeah, no, yeah.
What sport was your favorite?
What sport? Say?
What sport's your favorite?
My football. Football is my favorite sport by far. So my business partner is a Hall of Fame quarterback. His name is Warren Moon. He's the first African American quarterback in the Hall of Fame, and both of us love football still today more than any other sport. We watch everything from flag football to high school football to college football to professional football. We are true fans and students of the game as well.
Awesome. Love it. Dislocated my shoulder last flag football season, so I'm still recovering.
That's awesome.
David, thank you so much. This was great. I truly appreciate it. Very grateful for your time. It means a lot to us. You want to say goodbye and thank you, everyone?
Thank you. Thank you. Remember, be kind.
You will.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was awesome.
That was very nice.